Yeah, so you know, Mr. Chris Hansen, right? You know, that idiot? Bitch ass. Yeah, the person that, like, catches, quote-unquote, catches predators. He also, you know, is terrible at his job, considering that all of those predators, eventually just got released. Yeah, so it's to catch a predator and to release a predator. So, yeah, not that smart, my friend. Anyway, let's get into the video. Dateline crime to catch a predator.
Joseph Louis Roisman took a bus, a cab, and here he is.
This man traveled more than 5 hours to visit a girl he's never met before, at least not in person. He started chatting online with her just last night. Then he took a bus and a cab to get here. He thinks the girl he's meeting is 13.
I'm so glad you made it. Have a seat. I made some frozen lemonade.
Very cool.
Yeah, you like lemonade?
I do.
He was really talking to a decoy from the online watchdog group Perverted Justice. He's Joseph Roisman, a military man currently enlisted in the Navy. Online, the 21-year-old, calling himself Joseph Roisman 2000, tells the decoy he's completely shaved in his private area, asking in graphic detail what girl wants to give oral sex when a man isn't shaved. The decoy says, "I know I don't," and he responds, "Well, you won't have to worry then."
Guess what? I want to change my suit. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I don't have a suit though.
That's okay. You don't really need one.
Good deal.
Yeah, jump in. It's really warm. I turned it on a couple hours ago.
Sweet.
As he starts taking off his clothes, he goes in search of the decoy. Instead, he finds me.
Keep your hands on your pockets for me.
All right.
Okay, now I want you to go sit down over on the other side of the bar, please. Right in that stool. Have a seat. Good, you can put your shirt on. What was your plan?
I don't know. Talk.
Talk,
Friends.
be friends.
Yeah. As long as we're friends, that's fine. As long as I don't, cross that line.
But you talked about having sex with her in the chat.
We did discuss oral sex, but
I want to wrestle you so freaking bad. Wrestle me. I'd let you in just so I could feel you on top of me. Blanket, I want to see you so bad.
honest mistake.
Didn't
Honest
even
mistake.
say fuck.
Yes, my first time doing this.
First time.
First time.
If she would have let you, you would have had sex with the girl.
With her, no.
Do you know that it's illegal to solicit someone who's underage online for sex?
Yes.
But it seems as though that is what you did here. I mean, you could see how someone would draw that conclusion.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's something you got to know, and that is I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who try to meet teens online for sex.
No, there's nothing else for me to say.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
This man's long journey is about to get even longer. As he leaves the backyard and enters the garage, he's arrested.
Police department, hands up! Out of the garage! Now! Come out!
That's good.
Then taken to this booking station, photographed and brought in for questioning.
Did you know this girl was 13 when you first started talking to her?
Yes.
Did you guys talk about the possibility of her giving you a whenever you were talking to her on the internet?
I mentioned oral sex, yes.
Which would lead a reasonable person to believe that that might have been in the back of your mind, thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely in the back of my mind.
So what would had prevented that from happening if there hadn't been someone there to intervene?
Self-control.
He tells the officer several times that he would not have done anything sexual with a 13-year-old. But finally, he admits,
Yes, I would have liked to. Yes. Nothing more.
Can't even
there
say
were
fuck.
a total of 3 military men caught in this investigation.
Basically, this shows his whole, goddamn criminal record, this part of the video, which He did a lot. Why do you always look high?
Encouragement to take off his clothes, ready to jump in the hot tub.
Sweet.
Joseph Roisman, arrested after being interviewed by NBC's To Catch a Predator. You know this series. The former Navy sailor traveled more than 100 miles by bus, according to prosecutors, planning to meet someone he believed was a 13-year-old girl. Turns out he had been chatting online with a decoy. Well, he was just acquitted with the court's apologies because the judge found that he was entrapped, concluding that Roisman never intended to have sex with the 13-year-old girl. His attorneys claimed he was just there to, quote, cuddle with her and watch a movie. Now his family says they are going to sue NBC and others, but could they possibly win that lawsuit? Let's ask our panel. Former prosecutor Jonna Spilbor and Fox News legal analyst Mercedes Colwin. Mercedes, could they possibly?
I can't even imagine. First of all, forget this justice system and forget this judge. Release that perv to a group of mothers and we'll take care of him. I can't believe.
Ha ha ha, so funny. Why are you laughing? It's not funny. You're just... What the hell? Okay, but like, who are these people? Like, why does there always have to be, like, these, like, Karen-looking ass bitches, always, like, old 40-year-old women on the news saying how Fortnite is a danger to society, which, let's just be honest, it is. Not because it's danger to kids, because it's fucking trash, and you should not. You are insane if you play it.
That this family actually has the gall to bring this case. Let's look at this little chat between the 21-year-old and the 13-year-old. He said, oh, don't worry, my private parts are shaven so you won't get hair in your mouth. By the way, how old was the last person you had sex with? And all of this online chatting, and by the way, there's...
You can say sex, but you can't even say penis. You said, like, private parts.
No intent to have sex with this 13-year-old. Meanwhile, he's half naked the moment he hears that, oh, we'll go into the hot tub. What is he gonna...
I mean, to be fair, although yes, this guy is a predator, you know, you take off your shirt when you go into a hot tub, right? Whatever.
Gonna cuddle her in the hot tub? And why, if he's just intending to cuddle her, did he have to say that he shaved his private parts and asked about sex?
That's a very...
absolutely outrageous.
Very good question, Mercedes. I mean,
Mercedes?
Jonna.
Mercedes, why is the car here? Haha, funny joke, right? That's as funny as their humor.
Yeah, I agree that the allegations here are gross, but let's remember, there was no 13-year-old girl. The 13-year-old girl was actually an adult decoy. Allegedly, he thought there was, but the judge has claimed that, look, he was essentially entrapped and that the group behind this whole case lacked credibility.
Explain what that means, that he was entrapped.
Okay, so entrapment in the eyes of the law means getting somebody to commit a crime that they had no predisposition to do. And in this case, this defendant had no criminal history. A lot of the defendants on To Catch a Predator have no criminal history. And that because he was chatting online with an adult, that he was essentially entrapped.
But
That's why the judgment
nobody
is ruling.
forced him, Mercedes, to say yes to meeting with a girl he thought, or who said she was 13 years old. And he reportedly admitted to the detective that he did believe she was 13.
And that's what's so outrageous. He goes on this 110-mile bus ride, to meet this 13-year-old to watch movies and cuddle with her?
How is he possibly going to file a lawsuit, Mercedes? What jury is going to listen to him say that he's a victim?
Exactly right. I mean, the jury's going to say this judge got it wrong, because all this evidence is...
But what these people are wrong about is he doesn't get arrested for that. What he gets arrested for is raping an old lady. So, they should have just jailed him there. I don't know what's wrong with the judge, because he, went on to, go on, like, a drug spree and do all these crimes, and, like, he drugged an old lady and raped her and stuff. He did a bunch of crimes.
Going to come through, and frankly he's a fool, because the protections he would have in the criminal court, meaning his deposition, his testimony, he's going to be compelled now to testify under oath and detail in full detail the motivation, what he wrote, what he said. And by the way, that online chat is off, because I went on the internet to look for it. It's off, but he's got to show that as part of his evidence. So all of this is going to come forward, much of which didn't get to the jury in the criminal court.
You know what I think about when I hear this, though, Jonna, is, first of all, the guy, if he is totally innocent and had no intent, he was in the Navy, got kicked out, his whole life has been turned upside down. His parents say they've spent $100,000 trying to defend him on what they say are trumped up bogus charges. And the jurors who were sitting there getting ready to render a verdict, but the judge took the case from them and said, you don't even get the case. There's so little case here, I'm throwing it out because it's so clear the guy's been entrapped. The jurors who were interviewed, at least one of them said they felt bad for him, his life had been ruined, and they really thought that this perverted justice that NBC partners with on this had overstepped its bounds. I mean, that speaks volumes.
It does, and that will probably be the reason why he will get some money in the civil lawsuit. If he sues NBC and perverted justice, his claim should be this: it's one thing to catch a predator, it's another thing to concoct one. And they essentially created this crime, and he wasn't a criminal.
But I think the average person, Mercedes, doesn't understand, because it's like if none of us could be. Entrapped, forced into agreeing to go meet a 13-year-old.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly. I mean, frankly, even if he says, well, look, the decoy, well, now he knows it's a decoy, but the 13-year-old was bringing up the subject matter of intimacy and sex. So, of course, I engaged him. Hey, you're the 21-year-old having this conversation with you believe as a 13-year-old, disengage and says, listen, this is not the type of talk that I want to engage in, and pull out because you're the adult. Don't say that somehow you're entrapped because the subject matter was brought up.
Like they made him do it.
Exactly. No gun to his head, no duress. It's all bogus.
Well, we'll see. The family says that they are going to sue NBC in particular for more than $100,000. Panel, thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
One final word. This guy doesn't sound like a victim to me. He admits he believed the girl was 13. He wanted to eat fruit off of her. That's what he said. And cuddle. Please. Even if he does file a civil suit, what jury would be sympathetic to him? I don't know. Can you imagine the cross-examination?
Bruh. Chris Hansen gets caught in 240p.
It was a made-for-TV sex sting that split Murphy, Texas in two.
24 men were arrested, but News 8 has learned none of them will be prosecuted. The way the cases were put together was in question from the start.
Tonight, the Collin County District Attorney's Office says not one is strong enough to send to the grand jury. Myron Harris has the story as News 8 investigates.
It might be called the final scene. A Sunday afternoon last fall in Terrell, southeast of Dallas. In this video shot by NBC crews of...
So... Chris fucking Hansen. It's over. You couldn't even keep a goddamn predator off the street. It was to catch a predator. Then to release a predator 5 seconds later.
Obtained by News 8, you're seeing inside the making of the television show To Catch a Predator. This scene would end with a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
If there's someone in there, they know we're out here.
They'd all been there for some time. TV crews from the NBC Dateline show To Catch a Predator, TV producers on the driveway, a TV host, Mike Duck, stood in front. The police were there too, police from Terrell and Murphy. It's all supposed to be about justice, but a News 8 investigation shows that when the motives of the media and law enforcement get confused, justice can be meager, and in this case, tragic.
It's a prosecutor's worst nightmare.
Dude, why are you so mad? He's literally a pedophile.
As a federal prosecutor, the last thing you want is for the news media or reality TV shows to be involved in the prosecution of a case or the investigation of a case.
Get on the ground! Please, on the ground now! Some saw flaws in the procedure before the sting began. This email shows that Plano police wanted no part of the operation. The chief wants to ensure we have no one assisting, consulting, or being involved in their operation with Dateline.
You've got problems from beginning to end.
Please get on the ground. Get on the ground. On the ground. On the ground. Face down. Face down.
Murphy went ahead anyway with a sting they say they'd been working on for 2 months. However, News 8 has learned that Murphy's lead investigator, Snow Robertson, did not even work for Murphy until 1 day before the sting began. That put more pressure on the group Perverted Justice. In fact, much of the investigation was done by Perverted Justice, which NBC pays to conduct internet chats with alleged sexual predators. The group's methods have long been questioned, most recently by Marcia Bartel, a former NBC producer who is now suing NBC for $1 million after she was fired when she voiced concerns about the ethics on To Catch a Predator. Her lawsuit alleges the Perverted Justice chats are trolling operations. NBC, the lawsuit says, unethically provides local law enforcement with video equipment and videotapes. Please!
So, how they get the predators? They're just trolls. Okay. Well, okay.
On the ground. Police, on the ground. On the ground. Okay.
As reported by News 8, Murphy police appear to have been wearing NBC cameras in the Murphy sting. Neither NBC nor Murphy will comment.
You'll take care of the interview part there. If there's any...
Before the final scene, NBC got briefed on how they'd get pictures of the man inside the house in Terrell. He was Bill Conrad, a former Kaufman County DA, at that time an assistant Rockwall County District.
Why does that look like a girl? Why does that look like he's about to transform?
Attorney. He was to be To Catch a Predator's last and most notorious Murphy target. Patricia Conrad is his sister.
And these people were acting as not only police, but judge, jury, and executioner.
Perverted Justice chatters posing as a young boy say Conrad solicited them on the internet.
So when do you want to come over?
And then talked to an NBC decoy on the phone. That led to the stationing of men from 2 police forces on Conrad's front lawn that Sunday. When he didn't answer the door, police decided to phone him.
972.
They got the number from NBC.
524.
If you have a suspect who's not responding, do you storm his house? I don't think so.
After phone contact failed, the Terrell Police Tactical Team got called in to serve a search warrant. When they broke down the door, there was a single shot. Conrad had shot himself in the head.
I think it was about headlines, making a splash, making a story, jumping to conclusions. You know, we've got something that's really going to bring up our ratings.
As a matter of disclosure, Channel 8 competes against KXAS Channel 5, which is partially owned by NBC. In a statement to News 8, NBC says it's been transparent about its reporting methods, including the role of law enforcement and Perverted Justice. NBC says it's proud of its reporting and that the $1 million lawsuit is without merit. Byron Harris, Channel 8 News.
Well, there you have it. He caught a predator and then released it. Christopher Edward Hansen, arrested January 4th for buying 355 mugs, promising to pay it back, and never did. So, yeah, he stole 355 mugs. Now, I don't know, the guy felt sorry for him, so he, let him, he said, okay, fine, I'll let you pay it back in a month. He never did. And with the total, check, he went to jail because he theft over 30,000, so he's serving an 8-year sentence. Yeah. Over a goddamn 355 mugs. I hope you enjoy your goddamn mugs, Chris Hansen. The most likely reason for trying to steal goddamn 355 goddamn mugs is, I guess he was trying to invest in the stock market. Well, I wonder how valuable goddamn mugs are. Anyway. Well, he got a mug shot. So anyway, Chris Hansen arrested for goddamn stealing fucking mugs. Anyway, I'll be back in like a week. It doesn't matter. Maybe a day. Probably a week because it takes me so long to edit my goddamn video. So, bye-bye.